Good morning, it's Wayne Belisle with another smart profit maximizing moment. Today we're going to continue the profit formula and improving it. We're actually in part 5, I think. You'll catch the other ones on my blog or on this Facebook group. Anyways, today we're going to talk about the most important thing, gross margins. All right, what is gross margins? Well, that's your sales minus the cost of delivering your product or service. What's left is your gross margin. It's really your true income, let's call it that, okay? Because you don't have a choice but to spend some money to make some money, all right? I've been doing this a long, long time, and I've seen thousands of income statements for companies in hundreds of different industries. And without fail, 70% or more often than not more, of the total cost of the company is in the product cost and employee cost of delivering their product. Yet when the owner decides to cut costs, the first thing they do, they look at the telephone bill, they look at the printing bill, they look, they don't look at gross margins because they think it's something they need, all right? Business owners will spend more time complaining about property tax increase, which I understand, I complain too, but where the big dollars is simply in increasing gross margins. Let me give you a couple of examples. I worked with a company recently, a medical supply company, sales stayed flat and had a $360,000 difference from a loss to a gain just by working on gross margins. My own company, had a 20% increase in sales for this last year, but last year we went down and had an $80,000 increase in income. This year had an increase in sales, had over $100,000 increase in bottom line. All right, by controlling gross margin, you can do this whether you sell a product or whether you sell a service, okay? All right, the payoff for the work is huge. There's a lot of work in going into increasing gross margins. I put out a coaching formula, coaching checklist that has 52 different ways to increase gross margins. I use it as a way to start brainstorming with a client, coaching client. I've never used more than 1 or 2, but that's all, sometimes 3 or 4, but not much more than that. But it doesn't take much. All you need is a few ideas to actually increase it, all right? In the 80s, I was a manager, I was the CFO at Magnolia Coca-Cola, started as the comptroller, then moved up to CFO, and basically put together a special project team. For 5 out of the 6 years I was there, our team saved the company more money than a whole department of 40 people cost, all right? And we did that consistently. And we did it by asking a simple question. Why are we doing it this way? Can we do it more efficiently? Can we do it at a lower cost? We were constantly told the reasons for doing any process and having any systems where that's how it was done here. That's how all bottling companies do it. That's how I was taught. Even more disturbing was how often we found employees doing the same job differently, all right? This was caused by not having a well-defined processes. This lack of consistency was super scary and usually very efficient. We often discovered better ways of doing things simply by observing the employees' original methods for completing their work. And we took the best ones and then made that standard, all right? Over the next 2 years, we worked hard to improve and document every step of every process. The most important results were a dramatic decrease in employee theft. It was huge how much money was walking out the back door. An increased sales and cash flow because of better communication and coordination between the sales and production department. A reduction in inventory, which is locked up funds due to improved planning. A $10 million annual savings in production costs by consolidating all production into one plant. These type of system improvements often result in huge savings and super huge increases in sales for every business, no matter what the size. All right, you need to think outside of the box. You need to ask those questions, and you need to figure out, why are we doing it this way? Can we do it more efficiently? Can we do it at a lower cost? I had a local Mexican food restaurant that I worked with. They really improve their processes so much during their peak lunch hours, because that's where people came in. This means they have more lunch sales than the average customer. Word of mouth of the lunch speed has turned into a fantastic marketing tool that has brought in even more customers, especially those who are pressed for time. I've used, like I said, in system improvements to expand my local CPA firm. Small CPA firms like me usually get stuck, can't get past a certain point. We put systems in place on how to handle tax returns and quickly expanded. I called it the life cycle of a tax return. The results were only possible because I questioned everything about what I was doing and why I was doing it this way. Biggest breakthrough came from seeing what my industry normally did and looking for something different. I'm one of those weird CPAs. We don't do bookkeeping. We don't do payroll returns. We let there's people out there they love that stuff. We concentrate on what we do best. We do tax returns. We do tax planning. We do business coaching. That's it. All right. You know, many CPA tax preparers well, I'm not going to get into that. We'll worry about that later. Here's an outline of the steps you need to do to improve your operational systems. I'd write this down, okay? Listen to this and put this in place. Document all your current systems. You need to know what you're doing right now, all right? You think you do, you don't, probably, if you haven't documented it. You have systems, you just haven't designed them. Your employees have. Create a special project action team whose only job is to improve your operational systems and reduce costs. Now, that wasn't 100% their job. We met like one day a week, so I freed up their time so that we could do that. Question everything with the 3 questions we mentioned before. You know, why are we doing this? What were those questions? So I can say them one more time. Why are we doing it this way? Can we do it more efficiently? And can we do it at a lower cost? Question everything, all right? See what the industry norm is and look for a better model in different but similar industries. Don't be afraid to step outside of yours. Calculate your total activity-based cost, ABC.